On May 30th, 2005, 18-year-old Natalee Holloway disappeared in Aruba after leaving a nightclub with local resident Joran van der Sloot and two other men. She was never seen again. For nearly 2 decades, there was no trial, no recovered body, and no formal resolution. Then in a courtroom thousands of miles away, everything changed. Natalee Holloway was a recent graduate of Mountain Brook High School in Alabama, traveling in Aruba on a senior class trip when she vanished to us. On the night of May 30th, 2005, she left a nightclub with local resident Joran van der Sloot and two other men who were with the group that evening. She never returned. Her disappearance quickly became one of the most closely followed missing persons cases of the decade, drawing international media attention to the small island. In the years that followed, Aruban authorities arrested Joran van der Sloot multiple times in connection with the case, questioning him repeatedly about that night. Each time, he was released. Authorities said there wasn't sufficient evidence to formally charge him with a crime related to Holloway's disappearance. Years passed with no body, no charge, and no resolution. For Holloway's family, the search for answers stretched on without any clear end in sight. In 2010, van der Sloot was in Lima, Peru, where 21-year-old Stephanie Flores Ramirez was killed in a casino and hotel he was staying at. On January 11th, 2012, van der Sloot pleaded guilty to that murder in a Peruvian court, formally admitting responsibility for Flores's death. 2 days later, the court sentenced him to 28 years in prison for killing Stephanie Flores Ramirez. That same week, on January 12th, 2012, an Alabama probate judge signed an order legally declaring Natalee Holloway dead. More than 6 years after she disappeared, her body never found. For over a decade after that, van der Sloot remained the case's long-standing prime suspect, but he had never been separately charged in Holloway's disappearance itself. Then in 2023, van der Sloot contacted an attorney representing Beth Holloway, Natalee's mother, with a proposal about what he claimed to know. He allegedly offered to reveal details of Natalee's death and the location of her remains, in exchange for payment. That offer became the basis of federal extortion and wire fraud charges filed against him in the United States. Van der Sloot was extradited from Peru to the United States in 2023 to face those charges in federal court. On October 18, 2023, he appeared before a federal court in Birmingham, Alabama, to answer for the extortion and wire fraud charges. He pleaded guilty to both charges, extortion and wire fraud, tied directly to his contact with Holloway's family. During that same hearing, under oath, van der Sloot confessed that he killed Natalee Holloway on a beach in Aruba. He stated that he disposed of her body in the ocean, the first account he had ever given of what happened that night. It's important to be precise here. This was a confession made under oath as part of a federal plea agreement, not a murder conviction handed down in Aruba. For the extortion and wire fraud conviction, van der Sloot was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. That 20-year sentence runs concurrently with the 28-year sentence he was already serving for the murder of Stephanie Flores Ramirez in Peru. Following the confession, a spokesperson for Aruba's public prosecutor's office said the office had not ruled out the possibility of further legal action against van der Sloot there. As of the most recent reporting, no body has ever been recovered despite van der Sloot's account of disposing of her remains in the ocean. Van der Sloot has not been separately tried or formally convicted specifically for Natalee Holloway's murder in any court. Legally, he remains a convicted killer only in the Stephanie Flores Ramirez case in Peru, and a convicted extortionist and fraudster in the United States. Natalee Holloway's disappearance shaped nearly 2 decades of investigation, media coverage, and a family's long search for closure that no arrest could provide. It was Beth Holloway's persistence more than any single piece of evidence that ultimately led to the confession that came nearly 18 years later. The case stands as a reminder of how long a family can wait for even partial answers, and how some questions remain unresolved long after the headlines fade.